Hello, doll and dollhouse collector friends. I'm David Robinson with the Grovian Doll Museum and Carmel Doll Shop here in Pacific Grove, California. Most of you will have remembered that Michael Canadas, my partner, is normally in front of the camera. But this time we've switched and he's behind the camera. So if you hear a voice that isn't mine, offering suggestions or information, that's who you'll be hearing from. You'll see behind me we have assembled a selection of things that may be familiar to mostly you dollhouse collectors. While Michael pans this selection slowly, I'm going to give you just a little bit of backstory on these incredible items. They're all products of a German firm entitled Erhard and Sohne, founded by a gentleman named Karl Erhard, and his two sons, Carl Jr. and Julius, in the first half of the 19th century. It wasn't until, probably 1890, 1900, when they moved to a new facility, a factory that they built where they housed 300 employees, that they most likely hit the peak of their production. These items are grouped into specific lots that are related to one another, and we'll go over that in depth in a bit. I should note that Carl and his two sons formed an absolutely perfect trifecta. The father had great business experience from working for various companies, and the two sons were each specialized. One was quite technical in engineering and manufacture, and the second was very artistic, studied throughout Europe, various in art schools and design. So with that combination, economic success was practically guaranteed. I think it's a baseline here. The quality of these pieces is beyond compare. And when Michael gets to over here, you'll see the cover of a book entitled Sohne Dollhouse Accessories by the German author Sohne Dollhouse. This researcher is the one we can thank for any information we may have on this company, because for decades it was thought that these items were produced by the Marklin Company. And it's Sohne Dollhouse who actually, in contact with the, I think a great-grandson of the founder, discovered that these were indeed not Marklin, and that gentleman provided Sohne with original catalogs, which is what you will find in this book. There's some history of the company, which I highly recommend. It's like a wish book for dollhouse collectors. The items are fantastic. But there are 3 versions of their product catalogs contained in this book, plus toward the back there are photographs of things that have survived that are in collections today. Well, let's just start here, because these are just an assortment of etagères and small stands. You'll see there are various scales. Erhard and Sohne did not just provide items in the one scale that we dollhouse collectors might call standard scale, 1 inch to
because there were many
a
scales.
foot. There were many scales, which, when we get over here, you'll see that comes in very handy for larger scale items, which work very well with dolls. But in the meantime, we'll just stick to here.
David, could you explain to our audience that wouldn't know what the term an etagere is?
It's basically a shelf. It's a series of shelves. This is an etagere. This is an etagere. This is probably just considered a 2-tier stand. This is a table, and also a corner etagere. Also, in reading of the text of the book, people might confuse these things with reproductions because of the finish. The finish is so bright in most cases. there's no tarnishing involved. This is gold. There's no way that these items could be produced today.
Not. They just couldn't.
The process was gold amalgam, which was
Would you explain to?
well, I can give you a very basic. It's just mercury, a very poisonous, toxic substance mixed with gold. And the metal items are heated to red hot. They're given an acid wash. Then they're brushed with this amalgam of gold. Then they're fired again. And then the gold adheres. And then they're given a wire brushing, according to the book, and a little bit of polish. But it's interesting.
So it's gold plating, basically.
Not electroplating.
Yeah.
It's by fire gilding, basically. But it's interesting. We have had in the past, not these pieces, but smaller ones with a silver finish. And we questioned that. I remember when we had some table articles. We shouldn't have questioned it because I've learned that they also did things in silver and bronze. We don't have an example of a clock, but there are several clocks that incorporate a beautiful bronze patina with the gilding. So, I don't have an example of the silver now.
To question it when you don't. When
you haven't seen it before, but we'll just move on here. These are just various items for the doll's house. Here we have a waste paper basket, which would be beside your desk. We have a coal scuttle with a scoop, toilet tables with a swivel mirror. This one has a place for candles, a simple tray. I'm not positive this is Erhard and Sohne. Actually, I did not find it in the catalog, but it's...
But we may not have all the catalogs.
We may not, but it's also just a beautiful little piece that blends beautifully. And then carrying on to tables, we have a faux bamboo base on this little tripod table. It's brass cast into a bamboo design. This piece is lovely, just a little occasional table. Here we have another with some bamboo and a beautiful gallery, or apron in this case. Here's that table again with just a little brighter finish. Maybe this one had been scrubbed at one point. And then this is a classic table that is just a jewel.
It's one of my favorites.
It's fantastic. It has a...
And is that
gorgeous.
a checkerboard or just?
Not in this case. There is a games table that has this exact pattern, and it was used as a games table. But moving on to here, you can see we have a classic size Brew fashion doll with a hand mirror in her hand. Also Erhard and Sohne.
So they sold those off to Paris, like by the bush.
They absolutely did. And then basically what I've assembled here are things, all Erhard and Sohne, that are of a scale that work beautifully with dolls. In fact, some of these things seem almost too large for your typical dollhouse. Now, if you were going to put that on a little Biedermeier writing table in standard scale, it would practically overwhelm it. So that's lucky that for our doll collector people, this works beautifully in a scene with French fashion dolls. Here we have a blotter that works very well. And here is a rare piece, a little inkwell.
But you pointed out to me that they actually made doll jewelry.
They did.
So a lot of these watches
well, yes.
that
in
were
fact,
made by them.
Hold on. Okay. I'm going to show you a page. So, yes, for years now, we see these little French fashion pocket watches, and we think, oh, yes, right from the workshops of Paris. But here we have an illustration
of all the jewelry.
With the jewelry. Mm-hmm. And here is our watch. Mm-hmm. And I can point out also we have somewhere we have this set of jewelry. I couldn't find the doll, it might be at home. This exact set of jewelry. And you have these chatelaine pieces. Mm-hmm. So this is this hair comb ornament. We've had that before. So we thought,
book is a great source.
It is. It's a great source, and I highly recommend getting your hands on a copy. Another particular large-scale piece looks great in the hands of this little French fashion doll.
Parrot cage.
And then here we have an incredible assortment, and I think there are more, of umbrella stands. And these came with little, simple wire wrapped with cloth to emulate an umbrella. So it adds a little dimension of realism to your entry hall.
I love these.
Oh yes, the candlesticks. Oh my gosh, there's, I should count how many different varieties of just single candlesticks and chamber sticks there are. They're, oh my gosh, so tiny. Some of them are just the tiniest little jewels. But this is lovely. This whole little selection is terrific.
I'll take it all.
I know, it's addictive. So why don't we move here? We just have chairs, and again, what we have here is just what we have on hand. These pieces are from our own. We've robbed every dollhouse I think we own to assemble this.
And you get to put it all back.
I get to put it all back. I took photographs of where it all goes, but there are many, many, many more chair designs, but I think it's interesting. The high style of this piece, high Art Nouveau, which would have been 1890, 95 in Europe. And then behind it is, it's incredible contrast is something in, well, I think the Germans say Jugendstil, but also it's Art Deco. I mean, a very linear,
it's kind of moving into that.
Very linear lines as opposed to these fluid organic lines. Here we have classic bamboo, which is one of my favorites. Here we have bamboo, just like a little ice cream chair. This I'm not sure is Erhard and Sohne, but I believe I did see it in the catalog at one point.
And then you have kind of aesthetic movement back there with the sunflowers.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I think we have a set of 6 of those. But I just wanted to put out one of each thing except for
well,
a few.
I could just collect chairs too.
Yeah, so I think we're going to save this little group here.
I agree with that.
We're going to come back to the group that's up.
All right, so.
And let's move on to the lighting. When we were starting, we used to see a lot of these chandeliers without shades. And before we had access to this great book, we thought, oh, they're missing. These electric or gas shades are gone, and not the case. In the catalog, they show this model with candles. They show this model with gas shades, and they show over here the electric model with the downward facing blown glass.
And were they all made at the same time?
They were all offered at the same time.
Okay.
In the catalog. As long as it sold, it stayed in the catalog for sale. This, however, would date, I think, probably about 1910, I believe, is when they brought these in. But they were all available. So it's good to know that
if you run into
it, this with no shades or one shade, know that you can put little wax candles in it, and it's perfectly fine. And then we'll just travel down here to various lamps. Here we have a floor lamp. Here we have another style floor lamp. Kerosene lamps.
Wouldn't we call those banquet lamps, those big ones?
I think that's a term you could use. Here we have a wall sconce with no shades. This is a rare piece. This is actually an arm to hang the chandelier. You would put this on the back wall of a shop or a store.
Something commercial.
Yes, and then you would hang your chandelier over the counter or over the center of the room. Here we have another one with gas shades. It's a little smaller scale. Not positive they're original, but they were on there.
I see you have been getting into my stuff because there's a box there.
Yes, I'm going to get into that. And then we have candelabra, 3-branch. And then down here, these are from our Spanish cabinet house. And I always questioned if they were original.
What do you mean original?
Well, if these pieces were original to this, because these are something you would see
in a banquet lamp.
In a banquet lamp with a big round glass shade. However, I learned that Erhard and Sohne also did make soft metal pieces. So not just these stamped brass or metal pieces, but poured soft metal pieces. So it's very possible these are original. I don't think they're in the catalog. We have, I think, 6 of these in the Spanish house. I love them, and we would never change them.
I don't care.
No, I don't care either.
I mean, if somebody found 6 of them to fiddle around with them, good for them.
Right. So this,
or good for us.
This is soft metal. This is not. Which brings us to this. I question whether this was Erhard and Sohne because it's not brass. It's soft metal.
Yeah, but how
But it has a beautiful finish. These are soft metal.
Which they
This
did.
is brass, but these. And this is how they presented some of their products in sets. You could buy a desk set that would have the blotter, a pen, some candlesticks, maybe a figure. So this is a fabulous little document of how they sold their items.
And they've made it very clear, haven't they?
Yes, they have. This is what you're getting. You're getting a lamp and a pair of vases. So we'll move over to this category. These are large pieces. Just fabulous.
Oversized.
Yes, these are, classics, like 1/12, which is, at the time, they didn't have the scales that we know.
No, that's new.
Put on to dollhouse miniatures.
Not new.
It's just, it was standard, small, extra large, not like what we use today. But wonderful pieces. This also comes as a fireplace. This would be an overmantel, and then you have a fireplace below. This is a tiny little scale piece. This also comes in a bigger scale. Wonderful piece. What I also love about this company is they mix the pieces and the parts. The surface of this little dressing table, or I guess it's a washstand dressing table, is actually doubles as the base for the cutlery tray. They would just put a gallery and a divider, and you could put your silverware in there.
Well, it's almost like pattern pieces in dressmaking.
Right.
You put a different sleeve.
This is the piece that works on the toilette mirror over there that we showed you that swivels. It's the exact frame. Here it's utilized in an etagere. Whatnot over there, it's used as a.
But isn't it also used as
a picture frame as well? Yes, I don't think we have one here, but yes, you can buy that just as a picture frame, or a mirror.
And I hope you put that back where you got it from.
I know where this came from.
Okay,
yes,
good.
And then we have various wonderful little jardinières. Typically come in pairs. All of these are in pairs. I just happened to grab one, except for this. This pair, and then these are pairs as well. Darling little fireplace.
They have beautiful fireplaces.
And then this one, there's a bigger one too that's just fantastic, that actually incorporates, I'm going to borrow this,
yes, that
incorporates this mirror into the back, so you can visualize the scale of this piece. This is the overmantel mirror for a fireplace. It's just great. And then we have this beautiful cabinet with a beveled glass door, opening here with a twist of that little handle. This is a jardiniere, looks like a table, but you would have, or a planter, you would have maybe 2 or 3 pots of plants, flowers in there in your sunroom. And then here we have a great little dressing table, toilet. You would have had a little pitcher down here for water. And there's a tiny, tiny little mirror, hand mirror. So even a smaller scale, which is Erhard and Sohne. Let's move down here. This is an unusual piece to find, a valance. You could buy, these would have come, this piece with 2 L hooks that you screw into the wall, you hang them, and then this came with tie backs as well that you would push into the wall to keep your draperies back.
But we don't have
We don't have that. Those are easily lost, I'm sure. But we're just lucky to have the valance.
They got thrown out with the dollhouse.
Right. And I think we can safely say the pictures and this sort of thing, these are the most plentiful items that you can come by. So. That and the lighting. The lighting is not particularly rare to pick up. It's just rare to get it complete. So, but with the pictures, and this is just a drop in the bucket of what, it's endless. And this is just a simple wall plaque, but it has a profile of a kitten, a cat.
Does it really?
Yes, it's fantastic.
Which house does that go in?
I don't think that's in a house. I think that was in our for sale. I have to check.
Oh, well, I think I might buy that.
Okay, I'll give you a good price. But yeah, this doubles as a mirror and has a print in it. They came with these are original. I believe all of these are original from the company, all of these prints. And sometimes they have identifying marks.
Like
here we do.
Numbers?
Yes, this one has.
Let me see.
Inventory number, which I believe does match the ones in the catalog, so we know it's original.
That's great.
Yeah, not all of them do. I don't recall. This is just a simple cardboard.
I didn't know you knew so much.
Well, I do my best. Yeah,
wonderful.
Sometimes, yeah, you'll find the original.
Oh, no, I'll be looking for that now.
Yes.
I did not know
All right,
that.
so let's move over here
Oh, some of my
and go
favorite
to our
things.
favorite things. We're birdcageaholics in this
I
family.
love 'em.
And again, just a drop in the bucket of what is available. There were also, one of the most coveted pieces would be the squirrel cage. We do not have one. I think we have part of one upstairs in our storage. The most important part, but it doesn't have the frame. However, these are fantastic.
Well, we're lucky to have these.
We're lucky to have these. This is a parrot cage.
Which
And
have
you
been
can
my
tell,
favorite.
yeah, because the parrots are typically, they're wax. They have a little wax parrot inside with green and red
And
decoration.
they look like parrots.
And sometimes they have little feathers incorporated into them. This is a beautiful little simple cage with feeders that actually turn.
Like a
So
canary cage.
yeah, you could fill it with water or seed, one side each. This has the same fantastic design, but with the little metal feeders.
But David, do you think that the bottom was the way it must have been something else too? Reutilized.
I'm sure it was, yes, this is incorporated in this particular
Oh, in the
bird kit.
tray. Mhm.
This is incorporated as the base in the cylinder gramophone.
Oh, yes.
This is the same piece
Well,
that they
we
used.
have one of those.
We did. I don't think we have it anymore.
I think we still do.
I'd have to find it. But here you have a tiny, tiny little cage.
Yeah, those are
That's
beautiful.
just a wonderful little scale, complete with bird. And then we have another tiny scale, but this one has the base attached in twisted wire.
That's wonderful.
So this is the perfect comparison
And
of
then that's a
scales.
sunflower on the bottom, isn't it?
Yes, that's a sunflower design. This is not attached. This is a stand, but this fits so perfectly that we display it like
And
that.
it's a sunflower, the tray.
Right. And then clocks, another big component of the inventory of Erhard and Sohne. Amazing amount of clocks that were produced. Here we have what I was talking about earlier. We have the dark bronze
Oh, yes.
and the gilding combined. Again, this piece is the base is most likely incorporated in another.
Hey, David, I just discovered something. That base is that tray.
Looks like an inkwell.
No, the tray over there that you said you weren't sure if it was Erhard and Sohne.
I'm not sure it is, but
I
what
think it
other
is.
is a telltale sign about Erhard and Sohne are these amazing, and these are copper discs. The faces are copper discs that are enameled with this clock faces. So you can almost guess that if there's a paper face, it's been replaced. Like this, I believe, is a replacement. I mean, I'd rather have that than nothing, but you can see them. These are enamel.
So
actually,
you believe that they had enameled?
I believe all of them did.
Yeah. Because why would you do this
But
fabulous
it's just amazing, the work.
and then
But,
have a paper face?
The cuckoo clock is especially fantastic, and when you pull the string, the little bronze bird pops out. But it is missing the weights. We had many of these complete, but this one was just up in my workroom. This is kind of unexpected, but this is in the Erhard and Sohne catalog, a telephone. And we have another one over there that's in a separate category.
Well, I mean, this is ideal if you're doing a shop.
Yeah, you
or
find
a-
these in shops, or that's where I would put it.
or
But it has
I
the
mean,
little
it's
handle to crank it.
not a glamorous piece, but it's like having
But-
state of the art.
Yes, but
Technology,
for metal
yes.
toys, there are many components, not just metal in these toys. There's wood, obviously. There's a table I neglected to point out over there that has a veneer top, a wooden veneer top. Those tables also came with leather tops as well. But we would have had glass components, you have enamel components, you have leather components as mentioned. So they had a lot of, those 300 employees were kept busy
Yes.
in their various departments. So let's go over here to our very last category. And this, to me, represents the most elusive pieces from the company. The music stand, I don't think we've seen more than 2 or 3 in our 30 plus years in business. And any of the pieces with the glass, has a little blown glass trumpet in this centerpiece. This is particularly wonderful. It's a wall shelf little piece for a little, maybe these come in pairs or singles, but just lovely in a dollhouse to display a statue or a little figurine. This piece is particularly great. I love anything that has the swags and chains. There's this representative scene on top.
Cherub on top.
Just a jewel. I only ever seen one of those. This towel rack, one in 35 years. I could be wrong. Maybe there's 50 of them out there, you know, that we just don't know about. But this is, to me, a find. This piece is almost probably as sought after as the squirrel cage. It's a revolving photo
I think
stand.
more so than the squirrel cage.
I don't know, but it is fabulous. This piece we purchased from Flora Gill Jacobs' estate, and it was a keeper for her, so I think we can say it was a rare piece. It's a pocket watch holder, and the pocket watch is detachable. It's not it just hangs there. So the fact that they have survived together is pretty miraculous.
I mean, they made their watches, so that wasn't hard for them to do.
No, but it's just fantastic. This album is not rare, but what's rare is the stand. It has we see these very often in French fashion doll wardrobes.
Just about every one of them.
But the stand, I think we had this stand for about 5 years, and then waiting for an album that we don't think is rare to show up. It took a long time to find one. This represents a tiny little scale, almost children. I would say that it's children's furniture. There are chairs that complement this, but this is just a tiny, tiny little ottoman. So delicate. This piece is a lemonade set with a pitcher and
Darling.
4 stemware glasses. This piece is a set of brushes for the wall. But the most beautiful, this is how it's displayed in the catalog, but that's not how we display it. We display it here, with this part out.
Yeah, because that's gorgeous work.
Yeah, it's not easy to hold.
Darling.
So that is just a lovely thing. The telephone, this particular model, I find is extremely, extremely rare. We have only one of these in 30 years. This piece is very difficult to find because of the glassware involved. It has a little hooks for hanging the mugs, and then you have a little Lasha glass, blown glass pitcher with a lid. This is part of a set that you could buy for your dressing table, and it is either a hair receiver or a powder puff jar. The lid comes off and there's a little bit of fluff inside. And this is just a little centerpiece that actually came in the boxed set with this. So for some reason you would need this on your dressing table.
For hairpins.
Yeah, I suppose that could work. But that brings us to the end of this, to me, the most elusive pieces.
Yes.
Would you agree?
I agree.
Okay.
But
Is there
I don't
anything?
think any of them are particularly easy to come by.
Well, I think the exception would be some of the prints.
Right.
And what's funny is the most plentiful of the pictures is this one, which we don't have right now. And this is the picture frame. This is the picture frame for.
They used that.
Yes, this is the picture frame that you see alpine scenes in typically. And then
kind
a
of
little
shaped like what we would call a sofa pit.
Right, over in the Victorian parlor.
I mean,
but that is the picture frame,
but, you know.
but we don't have. But it's just fun to see how these things were utilized. That base is great. So
my takeaway from all of this, David, is I look at all these gorgeous items and I think, you don't have to have a dollhouse to collect these.
Oh, you don't? No, just a open room box or just as accessories for your dolls.
And I love
fantastic.
how they brighten up everything.
They do. I think,
well,
the Gilded Age wasn't called the Gilded Age for no reason.
That's true.
And every dollhouse needs a spot of gold.
Yes, they do. And we could use a little spot of gold ourselves.
Yes, I think we've covered it all. But
and shall you hold up this wonderful book? That
sure. Yeah, I was surprised when I started looking at this. It was printed in 2007, so it's been around for a while. Time flies, but if you can get your hands on a copy, it's just invaluable.
It's it's a specialty publication.
It
It's
is.
not an inexpensive item.
No, be
I think it's
prepared,
worth
but I'll
every
just
penny.
show you a page. And
I'll
you'll,
take it all.
I know, it is such fun.
Oh,
Here's our
oh.
waste paper basket that I pointed out. Here's our inkwell that I pointed out.
Squirrel cage right there.
Where?
Right here. Isn't that a squirrel cage?
No, that's a fan.
Oh, fan. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, they use some of the parts.
Here
from
you can see all the different prints and things. But no, the squirrel cage is quite, more clocks, fantastic clocks. So we have that one over there on the
We've
table.
got quite a few of those.
Yeah, then this one is up there as well. They're right, this one is up there. And this one. But tables, stands, here's our silverware tray that doubles as the base for the little toilette over there. It's just fun, never-ending amount of
Wonderful
treasure.
things.
But so let's all let's go on the hunt for some goodies for your dolls' houses and French fashion salons. Thank you.
I look forward to going on the next hunt.
Well, I'm sure we'll be there together. Thank you so much, doll friends.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button.